Okay, y'all, let's go ahead and take a look at the first promo car from Hot Wheels for 2024. This one just happens to coincide with the Dollar General promotion that's going on right now through April 20th, 2024. If you'd like to know how to get one of these for yourself, you can check out the video that I'll have referenced at the end. This is, of course, the Nissan Silvia CSP 311. Very nice looking casting here. If you've been to a Dollar General store and you've seen these shippers, this car right here is what it's all about. Hot Wheels does 7 promotional cars every year, 5 of those being mail-ins. As I said, this one's the first one, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Really nice casting overall. I have a feeling that a lot of people might not be super familiar with this car. And Hot Wheels, I believe, this is only the 3rd time that they've done this casting, so kind of a rarity there. If you're talking about the real car, I believe these were released in the mid to the late 60s and is kind of given credit as being a pioneer of the early Japanese sports car. So if you're comparing the real car to the casting, it's actually a pretty accurate representation as far as the body lines go, the front and the rear end. It has been Hot Wheelsed up a little bit. I'm not sure how many of these that you might actually see that aren't kind of in a stock form, because to be honest with you, I don't think there were really that many of these made. There were a lot of handcrafted body pieces, so pretty cool to have this in Hot Wheels form and see what somebody might do to it, especially if it was kind of given a more modern vibe, more modern take. So my initial impressions of this car are that it's a really nice casting, very accurate representation of the real life car. The casting itself is a little bit bigger than I expected, which is okay. I just thought it might be a little bit more compact, a little smaller, but it's actually a pretty nice size. Kind of puts you in mind of the Mazda Cosmo that we had recently. Not only in body line, I guess, some people might not agree with that, but it just kind of gives me that feeling. So let's go ahead and we're going to open this thing up. I got 2 of these and I chose this one because there's a little bit of piece of the interior plastic that's busted out. I am going to try to save this card. I had a display idea that I would have showed you guys, but I need an acrylic case for that, and the last time I went to Hobby Lobby, they were actually out. So what I'm going to try to do is maybe cut this out, and at the very least cut this portion out, and put that as a backing in the acrylic case, and then set the car in front of it, kind of like that. I don't know how it's going to look on this. I've seen people do it with other castings and other cards, and it have good effect. Not sure how to work with this style of card and this card, but we're going to try it. I'll give y'all an update, maybe in a community post or something when I actually get to do that. But just something to keep in mind. I wasn't actually able to do that. I guess I should say, for those of you who haven't got one of these before, they do come in this protector. Really nice protectors here. And as long as your package doesn't come damaged, then you'll have a nice protector to keep your car in. Obviously, a lot of you are going to want to open it and do what I'm doing, so not sure what I'm going to do as far as displaying it yet. But like I said, if I can find that acrylic case and it looks good, I will probably leave it like that. First things first, let's talk about this red Spectre Flame paint. Looks really nice, and I'm just going to tell you, earlier on the first part of this video, I kept trying to say Spectre Flame paint, and I said it about 20 ways, every which way but the right way. But really nice, kind of standard red. I think red is a pretty big fan favorite. For me, it's okay. I think it does look nice because it doesn't look too fakey. It doesn't seem to have a lot of fade like around the edges and corners. So it's nice. And I think it definitely looks good on this car. Probably just a little bit darker. Yeah, right there is probably an accurate representation of it right there. The lighting kind of does funny things with it, which, you know, that's Spectre Flame in a nutshell. Overall, the deco and the tampos, I think, are really nice. I like this striping. To be honest with you, I probably could have done without the Hot Wheels here, but it is a Hot Wheels promo, so that is what it is. We have Nissan Silvia here, and we have some, I'm assuming, Japanese writing here. I have no idea what that says, but it looks pretty cool, so I like that overall. To be honest with you, I could have went for that all over the place here instead of some of the striping. We have the number 1 because this is the first mail-in promotion this year. If you get some of the other ones, they are numbered, so, you know, the next one in the series will have 2, so on, so forth. But overall, I think the design of this casting is really nice. Something interesting that just kind of popped into my head when I was looking at information on the real car, I think this was originally released as a Datsun rather than a Nissan. I think it was like a Datsun Coupe. Some of you who know more about the casting could probably shed a little light on that, but it at least had its origins in that car and then was released as the Nissan Silvia. So it's an interesting history there. I know we have a lot of Nissan and Datsun fans in the diecast world. Taking a look at these wheels, like I said, these are pretty standard fare for this type of car. And honestly, I think these wheels have been used quite a bit, at least recently, in the mail-in promotion cars. I do think they look good in chrome, and to be honest with you, they fit this casting really nicely, so I'm not complaining about them at all. I don't really know that you could have picked anything better. I can't remember what the other versions of this casting have, but I definitely like this wheel choice. Tire choice to go along with it's pretty nice as well. Would it have looked different, if this had been a smaller casting like I thought? These might have actually looked a little bit big on it. I guess the casting actually is pretty small, because now I'm thinking about these wheels are small and actually look kind of big here. Part of that may be the stance too, where this thing sets up a little bit. If I was like, just super good at customizing, I might take this thing apart and try to lower this. I think this would look really cool with like a lowered stance. Yeah, definitely. I don't know how you would do that with the body. Either way, moving on. Let's talk about the front end here. Really nice details on the grille and the headlights. Simple, clean, accurate. This thing has a pretty cool body line here. Kind of an aggressive bumper and hood. I really like that. Have the badging on the front there. It looks nice. Kind of drowned out a little bit by the paint, but mostly just because this is so small. You were to put this under a magnifying glass. Let's see if I can actually zoom in a little bit here. You can see that it's actually, it sticks out pretty well for what it is. Rear end detail, not a lot to say here. They did a pretty good job with the taillights. I will say that this side looks a little bit off. I'm not sure how much of this is actually casted versus another piece versus painted. I can't really tell right offhand by looking at it. But either way, it is just slightly lopsided. If you're not looking at it real close or for a real long period of time, you might not notice. But obviously on camera here, as you're looking at it, you can tell it is off a pretty good bit. Have Silvia here on the hood, or on the trunk, excuse me. It's just another nice little detail. One interesting thing here, I think, too, is the placement of the exhaust. I'm glad that they added that. I don't know why, but just being kind of up under the middle of the car just kind of gives it a unique look, and I'm glad they added that to the casting. Pretty cool little detail that they added in there. As far as the interior goes, not a whole lot to talk about here. I do think it's fairly accurate. These cars would have a plain and simple interior. Looks good in black here. It is right-hand drive. Just not a lot in there and not a lot to say, but it does match the casting and the vehicle very nicely. So as far as comparisons go, I don't have anything on hand to compare this to. The only casting that I can think of off the top of my head that's the same as this one is the one from the Fast Rewind, which looks really cool. I think if I remember right, it has the Mona Lisa deco on it. One that I've always been interested in, but just never have bit the bullet and picked up. Maybe I will, since I have this one now and kind of know a little bit more about what to expect. But, if we're talking about recent releases from Hot Wheels and RLC, we do have this Hako 1972 Skyline HT 2000 GTR. Wow, that's a mouthful. Looks really good in the Advan livery. I don't know. It's kind of like comparing apples to oranges, although, fairly classic Nissan sports car. So there you go. And there are some similarities in between these cars. So you can definitely tell that there's some styling cues taken from this, given to this. Obviously, this car has been done a lot by Hot Wheels. Very popular. If this is something you want to see another video about, be sure to let me know in the comments. But as far as a direct comparison, I don't really have anything for you today. But overall, I think this is a really nice casting. If it's something that you're interested in, definitely be hitting up that Dollar General store for the mail-in promotion. If you're in the U.S., if you're not, eBay might be your best option. I know in some countries they actually sell these in stores, kind of like they sell premiums here. So that might be an option for you as well. If you are interested in this, be sure to check out our video up here in the playlist on how to get your own. Hope y'all enjoyed this review. Happy hunting, y'all.